reviewed the film of last night's game, was there any commonality to the problems on the defensive boards? Maybe was it another?
Yeah, there were some issues. I think you could say that a little bit of size disadvantage at times. When we were switching. I thought Gaff gave tremendous effort. He made multiple plays, to protect the rim. The 50-50 balls, some of them we didn't come up with. I think, there are going to be some nights where the ball doesn't bounce your way. Maybe you're a little unlucky, but some of those where, free throw box out, or, that you can minimize the mistakes, that those are really costly. But they do a good job of, pounding the glass. They've got, guys who naturally do that, and they created, a handful more possessions for themselves.
You guys are tied for first in turnovers forced. It's a huge jump from last year, 29th. What have you made of that so far?
A lot of it is the change I think we've made in our pick and roll defense. We've really talked about being in the fill spots and forcing that ball to kick to the high quad. At times we haven't done it, and that's where I think it's affected our paint. I thought we were at our best last night. That was probably the biggest sample where we leaned into those things, and first half defense was tremendous.
Coach, we talked about rebounds a lot last night, and strategically when Gafford sits, how can this team grab rebounds? Is it just getting more size out there, or is it something deeper?
No, I think it's a mindset too, with a sense of urgency. I think at times we watch the flight of the ball, and it's just a mindset of as soon as that shot goes up, you got to make contact. I think reading the flight too. If you're in a help position or a sink position, getting a second body in the mix, and then as teams continue to shoot more threes, the long rebounds, those don't fall in the bigs. I think the smalls collecting some of those, loose balls, some of the long rebounds. But I think in general it's just more of a mindset to hit first.
May I ask you to kind of expand on the schematic change in the pick and roll defense, you in a way that fans might understand it?
Yeah, I think in the past we were trying to send the ball down or to the sideline, keep things pinned on the sideline. More last year. It's still going to happen in certain situations, but sending it in the direction of the screen has allowed us to be at the nail, be in a fill spot. We fall into steals and deflections. You're forcing teams to get off the ball sooner, and when they don't, that's how you fall into those deflections.
Do you have an update on Dillon?
Not yet. He is being evaluated now, and hopefully we'll find out in a couple hours.
Do you think he'll travel with you guys?
He will not travel.
Is some sort of imaging being done?
There's some tests. I'm not exactly sure what those are, but yeah, he's getting tested.
I asked Gaff about screen setting. He said one thing that can help him stay out of foul trouble is if the ball handler holds it a little bit longer and lets him set the screen.
Yeah.
What have you seen about just his development as a screen setter and the chemistry with other teammates?
Yeah, he's been better to that point of not getting those illegal screens. I think he's also done a better job of reading coverage. You see more teams switching, so his ability to slip out and get below the roll and, kind of create a little bit of coverage confusion. He's done a better job of reading those situations. The angles of the screens, the forced chase-overs, and I think when he does that, he puts so much pressure on the rim. You see those highlight plays, and, I think as fans, we enjoy the end of the play. People don't understand or see how those plays begin.
Coach, Denny has looked really, really good on both ends of the floor and also in transition. I think his three-point percentage is up to like 46 or something. What do you foresee his role being as the season plows forward, and what can he contribute most?
Yeah, I think he's still got a lot of room for growth. I think he's playing with a lot of confidence, and that's a big piece for him. I think it's also a big sign for him when things aren't going well. He's able to navigate some of those stretches and bounce back. Where I think we saw it the first year, maybe bothered him a little bit. I think he has a bit of more maturity in that way, and he's showing a little bit more confidence. His teammates are breathing life and confidence in him as well, and I think that helps. And I said this before, he put a ton of work in, specifically with his shot, his finishing. He's worked on his body, so I think in doing all those things, you come in more confident as a player.
How have you done how have you progressed now in your third year as a head coach in terms of putting a disappointing loss closer to the rearview mirror and not letting it, eat
Yeah,
at you?
no, I don't think you can. I mean, I know it's at times painful in the moment. You want to make sure you're diagnosing what are the problems and how do we fix them, how do we help the group, but at the same time keeping it in perspective. I think you can find silver linings in a lot of ways, but we asked our group to really lean in on being in the right spot, and they took that to heart last night, and I thought we did it for the most part. The bottom line, we didn't get those defensive rebounds. I think when we were in the right spot, playing half-court defense, we held them to 41% from the field. The problem is on those second chance opportunities, they shot 61%. So that drives that overall percentage up. So we were doing some good things, and I think you can be pleased with that side of the effort. There's always going to be something we can pick at, but I think in general it was a lot better than what we've seen in the first handful of games.
I presume you guys went over film to start practice today.
Yes.
What's the buy-in that you can take in from players just being engaged and understanding the mistakes?
Well, I think they know what those are. I think at times, too, reinforcing the positive. Here are some great examples when we did what we were supposed to do. Here's some where we failed to do it, and this is what happened. I think there's always room for teaching. And if there's any misunderstandings or there's not clarity, using the film is a great vehicle for get guys to have a little bit of conversation. And this group has been great. They talk amongst themselves, asking a ton of questions. So I think that just shows that they're still engaged. They want to learn. They want to figure it out. And they're willing to maybe have those conversations with each other and with us and try to find a solution.